Take off your damn cowboy hat, Alexi.
Football is live. Welcome, everybody, to Football is Life, episode 145. I'm Ethan Cooney, joined by Matt Powell.
Hello, hello.
And Nat Mahmoudez.
What up, what up?
It's a Sunday. It's Sunday noon. It's not really at the morning or the afternoon yet. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
It's still morning here.
West Coast morning.
2 out of 3 of us.
That's true. It's morning for
early Sunday morning. We got a lot to get into today. We got MOS. We got to talk about the Gold Cup final. We got the Club World Cup final in just a couple hours today. So much to get to. Let's go back to the Gold Cup, which happened last Sunday. USA versus Mexico. Mexico coming out on top. Their A team beating the US's CB team, whatever you want to call it. And in slightly controversial fashion, we'll get into that. Game starts out good. Chris Richards continuing to prove that he is the US's best center back currently. Scores, and then Mexico would win the game 2-1, the final. So Ethan, what are your thoughts on the Gold Cup, USA falling in yet another Gold Cup final to Mexico?
Yeah, I mean, we can't take Mexico for granted, I think USA fans, at least, have definitely got a little arrogant in the last couple of years with the, Dulce Cero and all that stuff. And I think we've taken Mexico for granted as they've also had a difficult couple of years with their national team like we have. I think we've just been a little more fortunate than they have in certain years. So there is definitely a new generation of USMNT fans who aren't really used to losing to Mexico. I'm quite used to it, to be honest. So this game wasn't really a shock. It was certainly a disappointment. You hope for better. I mean, you see Diego Luna ball out against Guatemala, and then he doesn't really show up against Mexico. And it's obviously, this game is nowhere near on Diego Luna. It's just one performance, that I'm singling out, that things just didn't really go, as perfectly as they could for the US. The offense, I think, just they didn't really show up.
I mean, a lot of the US didn't really show up. The US was really non-existent for most of this game. I mean, that's another thing. It was the arena in Houston was entirely Mexican fans. This is not surprising. We saw this coming. Again, who's going to? If you're an American soccer fan, who's buying a ticket to this game? Who's showing out the money that they're selling these tickets for? Is ridiculous. We've been over this. Matt, what are your thoughts on how the U.S. looked in this game?
I mean, they looked bad. They looked bad all tournament. I was pretty sure they were going to lose. They hadn't played up to par. And Mexico has some really, really exciting stuff going on. One from their players who are advancing into Europe, and 2 from their youth players. And they're going to be better. They're going to come out of this slump, and they're going to be a more respectable soccer team like they've almost historically always been.
That goal from Jimenez, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is a legit team. They're definitely on their way up out of this slump where they were the worst they basically ever were, and we're gonna have to compete, and we're gonna have to also get better, not get worse. And this was not a good team at this cup, and they didn't play well together. And it wasn't our A team, obviously. But I don't want to say that and like pretend like our A team would have gone out here and destroyed them. Like, that's not what would have happened.
No, like the A team thing feels like an excuse. You know, yes, Mexico had a squad that will more closely resemble the lineups that they'll be playing next year at the World Cup than we did. But that doesn't matter. You know, it's these two teams that are sharing the pitch. And I mean, you know, Guatemala beating Canada, making it to the semifinal. There's really no excuses for us, I think. You know, we can say BC team all we want, but we have the quality, and it just wasn't there.
I mean, this entire tournament, we haven't been good. We haven't been very good. I mean, I think a lot of people were blinded by winning all the games in the group. And again, all the teams were not very good. So, like, it would have been a failure if we didn't do that. The first goal for Raul Jimenez in this is a good finish. And it was nice to see him. It was nice to see him honor Diego Jota, since he played with him at Wolves. Honestly, in what was Raul Jimenez's best ever season when he was playing for Wolves.
I can't even believe he's still playing. I thought his career was done for when he got that head injury. I'm shocked that he came back, but then also to come back in the fashion that he has, and playing as well as he has, it's incredibly impressive.
But that being said, I mean, the first goal only happens because of I don't know what Tim Ream is doing on defense on this play. Is late to move over and do anything on this play. I do think that that could have been better defended. Tim Ream, again, Chris Richards has proved he is the US's best center back during this Gold Cup. Tim Ream was pretty good, honestly, during this tournament, but still, he should not be playing. He is old, he is slow, and I do think he is partially at fault for that goal. All right, let's talk about the controversy, though. While the game was 1-1, USA could have had a penalty kick when a Mexican player literally palmed the ball in the box. He moves the ball with his hand, and the entire soccer world has been talking about this play. If you're a Mexico fan, you're saying, yeah, you look at the rules, you can't be called for a handball if you are stopping yourself from falling. It does say this in the FIFA rulebook, in the IFAB handbook. This is incredibly stupid. This should be a handball. If how the handball rule is written currently is terrible, and if this had happened to Mexico and the USA had won this game 2-1, and Mexico had a chance to get a penalty kick because a U.S. player touched the ball like this, we'll just say if Tim Ream touched the ball like this, they 100% would be claiming handball. So what were your thoughts on this handball, Matt? Let's start with you.
It's a handball. It should have been called, and it's an important call in this game. But I don't really want to focus on it because I don't think this U.S. team deserved to come out of this game with a draw or a win. So I feel like the cards fell where they did. But this is a bad call. And as a referee, you cannot be missing this. As VAR, you cannot be not recommending this for review. and there was a breakdown in how VAR is supposed to contribute to the game here. And I think this was a clear and obvious error in a handball.
Yeah, this should be a rule change. Like, this should be a rule change. If FIFA is going to claim that this is the correct call, then that's terrible. You should not be. We do not want players like deciding in the future if they're going to fall down anywhere to try to jump on the ball. This is already kind of a flaw when players want to say they get fouled, so they jump on the ball to try and get the referee to call the handball. It's a stupid play that players do that, but that's a little more reasonable. This is just like, oh, I slipped and my hand happened to... No, and it's like calling, saying that it can't be a handball if it's unintentional. Every fucking handball is unintentional. No one wants to give away a handball. If it hits you in the hand, it's usually not good. It's not good to give the other team a free kick. So, like, this is it's just so fucking stupid that when the ball literally touches someone's hand, is in the palm of his hand, it's not called as a handball. Ethan, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I do. I agree with you guys. I do have a hard time with a call like this because I think it's one of those plays where, you know, if your player does it, you're going to be saying, oh, you know, he slipped. He was just, you know, he just extended his balancing arm. It's not intentional. It's not a handball. But if the opposing player does it to your team, you're going to have a response like ours, and you're going to be saying it's a penalty and it's a horrible miscall. So it's a tricky play for me.
I don't even think so.
You don't think so?
I think if the U.S. did this and it went uncalled, I would have been like, that's a handball. And I might have said something like, if it's technically in the rules, fine, but like that's
right. Yeah, I do think at the end of the day,
about the result, but we'd be like, what? Yeah,
because it's pretty. It influences the play. I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And while there wasn't a U.S. player like getting ready to strike the ball, like he fully stops the ball and turns around.
Right.
That is influencing the play. Like, it is very like a U.S. player. If he doesn't do that, like, a U.S. player could still get on top of that pretty quickly. So. Yeah, that's a handball. It should have been called. The Gold Cup is a stupid tournament that happens every 2 years for some stupid reason. So we're gonna move past the Gold Cup. Just before to fully wrap up the Gold Cup. So again, we learned what we learned about Chris Richards. Anything else that we learned about this tournament besides Alexi Lawless doesn't know how to dress? Except we probably already knew that.
Number one looking forward.
Matt Freese, I don't want to like undersell his big moments in this tournament, but there were like a fair share of shaky moments. I would love to see him be the number one, but I'd also love to see him clean those up.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I want to attribute a lot of those to nerves, because I feel like I haven't seen him make mistakes like that with NYCFC at the club level. But at the end of the day, you know, in a World Cup, you can't have those nerves. So it would be nice if there were, you know, some more opportunities before the World Cup, but we really just kind of have to wait and see. Save for the odd friendly. Yeah.
I think that he had a couple shaky moments, but at the moment, you still have to, if the World Cup is starting tomorrow, you have to start Freese because he's actually playing over Matt Turner. Matt Turner is not starting, and goalkeepers need to be playing. Now, it's a little harsh for Matt Turner because he really has not had a big mistake in a meaningful game for the U.S. men's national team. His bad mistakes recently were in friendlies, and he was bad in the Switzerland game.
Say that Panama game in the Nations League.
Oh yeah. Oh, that is true. He should have saved that goal. But until Matt Turner is actually starting somewhere else, then it should be Matt Freese. And I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Matt Turner in this year if he ends up going to. If he ends up actually starting for Lyon, that could be huge for him, and then I could seriously change my mind about him starting in the World Cup. That being said, he's going to a team who expects their keeper to play with their feet. This is not one of Matt Turner's strong suits.
Yeah, it's never been one of his strengths.
It's honestly never been one of any American goalkeeper's strong suit.
Which, by the way, annoys me so much. I've spent a lot of time through my own experience and through my brother's experience watching the highest levels of youth soccer in this country.
Yeah. We're going to get to some goalkeeper errors.
Goalkeepers nowadays coming up in the American youth system are ballers. Very simply. I am watching when I watch teams ping the ball back to their goalkeeper, they'll just take the ball with their chest super casually and then distribute it. They'll Rabona distribute it for no reason. They're this generation above the current one of goalkeepers that literally never learn to play with their feet. It doesn't make any sense. It's not because you just have to be a functional passer and you have to be able to put your foot through the ball, and then you have to decide whether or not you're going to functionally pass it or just put your foot through the ball. It doesn't. It astounds me. And it annoys me, particularly because of Nashville's game against Miami.
What you're saying here is especially funny right now because of that. We'll get to that in a second. But back to Matt Freese, Matt Turner again. If who's actually playing should be starting. Other positions, the two other players who I think have pretty much cemented themselves into the 26 people who will go to the World Cup are Diego Luna and then Malik Tillman. These two players, I think, were on the fringe of just making the roster, and now both of them, I think, are firmly going to be on the roster. Very much good for them. Is there anyone else that you guys want to give a shout to?
We've talked about him already, but I think Chris Richards really elevated his USMNT stuff.
Chris Richards is number one. He's already going to be starting.
I think he elevated.
Chris Richards is starting, and
he elevated
for the World Cup. I don't think he was going to be starting at the World Cup. I think he cemented himself.
I think you're wrong.
Who else was going to be starting over Richards? There is no other center back.
If the starting lineup that's not Chris Richards is Cameron Carter-Vickers and Tim Ream, right?
Okay, and Tim Ream shouldn't be starting at the World Cup in the first place. So, that would be a mistake.
But I will say that it's probably worth talking about how Chris Richards elevated his status from a starting keeper, guaranteed roster inclusion to one of the key pieces of this team.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I mean, he was one of the best. He was our best defender at this tournament, and in some ways, he was also our best attacker.
Yeah, he certainly had the best, finisher's instinct. I think outside of Diego Luna this tournament.
Yeah, maybe is that the best option for the U.S. next year? Instead of bringing 26 people, we just bring 26 Chris Richards.
26 Chris Richards would be a pretty awesome team to root for. I don't think they'd be very good at soccer.
I don't know. I think they're
balanced team in the world.
I think they could get out of the group.
Probably. I mean, you're talking about 26. You'd be talking about 26 Premier League quality center backs, which would be most national teams.
Yeah, I feel better about that team getting out of the group than I do about the actual U.S. men's national team. So I think that says something about where we currently are with the national team these days. All right, let's move off of the Gold Cup and the USMNT, and let's get right into the drama that happened this week in MLS. And let's go straight to what we were talking about with Nashville today. Nashville's winning streak has come to an end.
15 games.
And Matt, is this?
It was 14 games. Fault? It ended before 15. We had
15 in all competitions. This would have been 16.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna count the U.S. Open Cup in this. Okay, sure.
I think it's 12. It's 11 or 12 in league play. It's 15 across all competitions.
Yeah, so coming off of a big win in the U.S. Open Cup, 5-2 against DC, and Nashville will play the winner of the Red Bulls versus Union game, which got postponed and now will be played in August. So whoever wins that will play Nashville in the U.S. Open Cup semifinal. I think that game will be in Nashville.
If it's Red Bulls, it'll be in New York or New Jersey. And if it's
that's stupid.
If it's Philly, it'll be in Nashville.
Okay, so we're rooting for Philly. That's honestly nothing new. We're not rooting we're not rooting for the Red Bulls. Yeah. The other teams are Austin and Minnesota. That is who could be a real big chance for Nashville in this tournament, in this cup. I think outside of Minnesota, I guess Philadelphia is still good. Okay, so maybe you can't say Nashville is the favorite, but Nashville would have been feeling good going into this Miami game, and the streak is gone in horrendous fashion. Matt, what were your thoughts on this game?
Nashville got outplayed in most of the first half, but not significantly. They go into halftime down 1-0 after Eddie Tagseth commits the type of foul you get from a player like Eddie Tagseth, who does as much work in the midfield he does and wins as many balls in the midfield as he does. I'm not going to fault him for it because he wins that ball so many times. He commits a silly foul on on Messi, and then Messi does what he does and scores a free kick. And
it's
good.
Do you blame Willis at all on this free kick?
No. It's
a really nice free kick, but
Messi hits it really well.
Messi free kicks are kind of like a get out of jail free card, I feel like, for goalkeepers and the wall. Like, unless there's a really egregious mistake made, you just know Messi's probably going to score the free kick.
I mean, he did go to the, I guess it is the far side of the wall. It's not the wall side. I kind of feel like he's trusting the wall. He's trusting the wall a little too much on this. It's a really
there's also a slight deflection.
I see that there's a deflection. I don't think that. I think he still could have saved that with the amount of the deflection.
I don't know.
It's a really nice goal. It is a really nice goal, and everyone is expecting Messi to go over the wall. So the fact that Messi went around the wall did surprise me, and I have to assume it also surprised Willis. Any other thoughts on that goal, Matt?
No, it's a good goal. And I said my piece. Eddie commits the stupid foul. Not a stupid foul. Eddie commits a foul that I will forgive him for because of how many balls he wins in the midfield. And then we head to the second half. Nashville scores him pretty immediately and then controls the game for a solid 30 minutes. Andy Nouhou is the best right back in this league.
And Mukhtar goes straight to get his boots shined by
Andy Nouhou is a habitual.
It's a really nice goal. It's a really beautiful goal.
Yeah, great cross, great header.
Yeah, in some ways, I actually think it's this is also poor goalkeeping by Inter Miami's goalkeeper. It's a really nice header. There's a lot of power. It happens very fast. But in some ways, the header is directly at the goalkeeper, and he just flails an arm at it. I felt like he could have saved it. This, but again, take nothing away from Nahar and Mukhtar. It's a perfectly played. He gets so much power on this header from about 10 yards out, which can be hard to do. It is way harder than it looks. We come to the moment though. With that starts with Joe Willis chesting the ball.
No, I mean
he chested the ball.
I would say it starts with the defender. What's
no? I think Palacios is who had a really bad game. By the way, he's had a great season. He had a really bad game. I think he plays a fine ball, and if you trust your center back, you should. If you trust your goalkeeper, you should be able to play this ball.
Yeah,
and Joe Willis' first touch is great.
Yeah, the chest is the chest. Touch. It starts it, and it is a good chest.
He should have cleared it.
He should have just kicked it wide.
It's so easy to put your foot through the ball.
Yeah,
I mean,
kick it long, or just pass it to the other to the left center back. The problem is he's trying to pass to the right center back, and that was just never going to work. If he passes it to the left center back, who does a good job on getting back and trying to do anything, but when you literally give Messi a gift, it's not going to end well, and it's just so it's very sad for Nashville that this is how their streak ends.
It's so frustrating
by gifting Messi a goal like this. It just Messi gets in your head this way. Matt, what was your reaction to seeing this? Did you see that play live?
Yeah, I watched it live. And it's exactly what you expect. It's just unbelievably frustrating to watch, just a crap goal like that, and a streak as special and fun as the one that we had. But in the grand scheme of things, Cincinnati drops points too in a really awesome game against Columbus. And Nashville stay. Yeah, that's crazy.
After being up 2-0.
Yeah. So Nashville stay within 1 point of the Supporters Shield race. And by the way, Nashville hosts Miami on Decision Day. So if you want to identify a possible Supporters Shield implicated game, that would be one of them for sure.
Hopefully that game still matters at that point.
I hope so. I would love for that game to matter. I would love for that game to decide the whole thing.
That as Nashville gets ready to after Nashville has already won their first trophy and is continuing their treble push.
Yeah, exactly.
Before going into the MLS playoffs, I mean, we know how well it usually goes when teams win 2 out of the 3 trophies in the MLS Cup playoffs.
The treble is still on the table.
It is. This is still on the table. I mean, you can't get leagues. I guess it's still on the table for a bunch of teams. You can say it's still on the table for Miami as well, in Leagues Cup. But again, that not the other treble is better. Justice for the U.S. Open Cup. I thought that the call on the play with Willis on the second goal, which then again ends up being the game winner. I thought the commentator was very, very accurate and kind on this play. In Joe Willis has done so much for this club, and this is like a moment that he wants to forget, because it is true. This is very much uncommon for Joe Willis. Doesn't get into these situations, and that's honestly, I think, what makes this situation a lot funnier, is because this is just so uncommon for Joe Willis. Any other thoughts on the Nashville game, or Matt, after that goal? Not really a big chance for Nashville to try to equalize.
No, there wasn't a huge chance. Sam Sturridge had an opportunity, well blocked. Luis Suarez was awful, like really, really bad. And I've known that, but I haven't really sat down and watched Miami game start to finish. And yeah, I mean, Nashville had a really good streak. They're the same team today that had that streak, so they should have a fun one coming up against Columbus. I hope they go on to win the U.S. Open Cup. They're the best team left. Philly are still good. Minnesota are still good, but they're the best team left. And we'll see. We'll see. Oh, Messi does catch Sam Sturridge on the Golden Boot race in this game.
Yeah, both at 16 now.
Yeah, Messi has
more assists. Messi's headed towards 5 straight games with a brace. Are you kidding me? He's going to win MVP. He's the best player in the league. Like, no one is going to come close to his form. He's the best. He's the GOAT, and he's playing like it.
Yes. So, yeah, as Matt said, Nashville midweek. This week they will face Columbus. Should be a really good one. It is the Yellow Derby in at Geodis. Should be a really exciting one. Really true game of the week. That's midweek. Any thoughts about that? Are you expecting any rotation for that game?
I mean, maybe. It's been a first choice lineup for our games, which went Wednesday, weekend, Wednesday, weekend, Wednesday. So I would not be surprised to see rotation here. Johnny Perez will probably come back, who's been awesome this season because he missed this Miami game for a red card against Philadelphia. And yeah, I would not be surprised to see a rotated squad. But this team, the story of this team has been the ability to succeed from top to bottom. So I'm not too worried about needing to rotate.
Yeah. I mean, Mukhtar is really starting to play like his former self. He's been quiet for like the last year. And it was quiet all last year and the beginning of this year. And he has been quietly very good during this whole stretch. Hopefully,
I don't know about quietly. The MLS MVP rankings have both him and Sam Sturridge top 5. They're 4 and 5.
Wow,
that actually a real surprise to me. I mean, it's justified. Mukhtar has been very good. He's just always one of those players who teams have to worry about a lot. But we'll see if Nashville rotates midweek. Maybe Teal Bunbury is the answer to Nashville pulling out a victory against the Columbus Crew.
Probably not.
All right, let's talk about the Sounders, and we'll go back to the Sounders game against the Columbus Crew. I was at this game, obviously, with Max Drisbeck, who was on the show last week. This was a really good game. As Max predicted, this game ended with a 1-1 tie. Diego Rossi scores first on a break. Not good defending on that play. Kosa Renzi and Nouhou both caught playing too high, and Diego Rossi finds an open net. Then Kalani Kozarenzi would redeem himself, and he starts on a play which he starts with a tremendous first touch, brings the ball down from an overhead ball with the tip of his foot. It's just a tremendous touch, and finds Paul Rothrock, who has just been absolutely incredible recently. I love Paul Rothrock. He's playing just lights out. Scores a goal very much deserved, and that would be the last goal of the game. It finishes 1-1. But the story from this game was what happened in the 7 minutes of stoppage time. So after we had played 7 minutes of stoppage time, or actually I think there was literally about 10 seconds remaining in that 7 minutes after a Columbus Crew free kick, Stephen Frei collided with the Columbus Crew player, Frei's head making contact with the Columbus Crew player's knee, and immediately it was clear that something was not right. All the players on both teams immediately signaling for medical, and within seconds there was an ambulance actually on the field. Like, stretcher was out pretty fast, but an actual ambulance was on, and after that, and you can hear on the broadcast, while a corner kick was the result of the play because the Sounder had headed it out, the ref wanted to award the corner kick because referees do not, if someone has the chance, they want to have it play out. The referee was going to start the game. But Wilfried Nancy and Schmetzer were like, yeah, we're not doing that. This is bigger than the game. We had already played 7 minutes, and they called the game there. That is how the game ended. We'll get to just in the aftermath. So after Frei left the game on a stretcher, there was the unclear. He is all good. He is in concussion protocol. It really feels like somehow he ended up as well as he could, in that it doesn't feel like this is career ending, and he was able to he showed up at training on Tuesday. He
Wow.
wanted to go make an appearance, and he showed up, which is good that he was able to get to training. We love that. In the meantime, Sounders will roll with Andrew Thomas, who is an MLS caliber starting goalkeeper, so it really isn't that much of a difference. But I have never, in being a season ticket member for the Sounders since 2010, I've never experienced anything like what happened at the end of the game. It was an incredible atmosphere. There was a lot of Crew fans at this game, and the entire atmosphere changed in an instant. The stadium became instantly quiet when all this was going on. This all happened right in front of my section, was blocked. When the ambulance came on, couldn't see anything because of the ambulance blocking everything. And there was a lot of people getting emotional in the crowd. And Stephen Frei has been with the team for so long. It's so just when this type of stuff happens, it's just like oh my God, it's just it was absolutely wild, and I have never experienced anything. And the amount of time after this game, that entire night last week, all I could think about was thinking about anyone who was in Cincinnati for the DeMar Hamlin game, and what that must have felt like. It different scenario. It felt like we were really going to lose someone that day, and it's and it never felt like we were actually going to lose Frei, even though at the beginning it was we don't know how much he's moving, but it just makes me anyone who was at that game is going to remember that for a long time, and that's the same thing for what happened here. So very, very happy that Frei is okay, and happy that I believe we should see him on the field again. Maybe we'll get to see him in a Peter Cech helmet the next time that he steps on the field. Ethan, what was your reaction to the end of this game and the actions taken by both teams and Wilfried Nancy to end this game?
Yeah, well, I was really moved by Nancy and Schmetzer coming together to ask the ref to call the game. it's not something you see very often. And it was really moving to see Schmetzer talk so sweetly about Nancy after the game and thank him for doing that. And this is it's just, you know, it's a moment where, you know, the game suddenly becomes the least important thing. And Schmetzer and Nancy both rose to that moment, and I think it's really great how they came together and you know, forgot about the game and focused on the human aspect of it. Yeah.
Paul Rothrock brought it up at the end of the game. He was like, in the weekend where we had Diogo Jota, we had Musiala having his terrible injury, like seeing this again, it was just really, again, like not a good weekend for sports for soccer injuries. Matt, what are your thoughts on what happened here? The play, again, nothing that there's. I don't think this is a foul. It's just an unfortunate collision. Yeah, Matt, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean it's very scary. Obviously, Nashville had a similar situation earlier this season with Walker taking the boot to the face in the Charlotte game at Charlotte. He missed about a month and a half in concussion protocol and was knocked out on the field. And it's just awful. It's a reminder that what these athletes are doing is, you know, difficult and high stakes. And yeah, I feel like there's rarely anything in challenges like this. Like when you go from like DeMar Hamlin to Walker to Stefan, like it's just sports. It can just happen to the human body. And it's scary, and I'm wishing him the best in his recovery, and, you know, don't rush it back because it's bigger than the sport. And I'm glad he's all right.
Yeah, definitely a really tough ending. Again, the mood just changed so much. And yeah, we'll remember that game for a while. Last things I'll say about this game. Not happy to see Jesus Ferreira playing 90 minutes. I honestly don't know how he made it the full 90 minutes without like falling over because of exhaustion. He looked very slow, and yet we're still taking him off early. Did think it was fun. I thought that Columbus didn't have him anymore. Columbus did. There was a moment in this game when Evan Bush got injured, and it was like, are Columbus about to put on Romero again? And Romero was the player who got sent off last year in the Seattle-Columbus game for running into Jordan Morris. Would have been insane if he came back into the game, into another Seattle-Columbus game. And last thing about this game is we saw for the fourth straight game in Sounders in the Sounders stretch, a fullback was sent off in Kalani Kosarensi got 2 yellow cards, and that made him suspended for the Sounders game against SKC. Now we move on to the Sounders game against SKC, which, wow, the Columbus game had some stressful moments. There was a lot of really stupid moments in this game, in the Sounders game versus SKC. Sounders, so this SKC team, first off, I'll say they feel completely different from SKC teams of late. A lot of that is because SKC doesn't have Peter Vermees anymore. They also don't have Tim Media.
Yeah,
so
I forgot that he retired.
Very, very different. Jordan Morris gets the start in this game. Really good to see Jordan Morris starting and looking like a DP striker. And he scores. It was huge for him, just huge boost of confidence to get a goal. He starts off the play.
Is that his second on the season?
Bruh.
I'm genuinely asking.
Bruh. No, bro had a punch. Bro was playing very well before he got injured.
Jesus Ferreira?
No, Jordan Morris. I said, did
I
say Jesus Ferreira? Yeah.
I feel like I heard Jesus Ferreira. Maybe that was just me.
I think I said Jordan Morris. Jordan Morris, it's his fourth goal, and Jesus Ferreira also did have a goal in this game.
But
and he had again. He's been so good for the Sounders recently. Puts in a ball. Jordan Morris scores with his head, makes it 1-0. Then the Sounders would get a penalty kick. I think this is our second. It's only, I think, our second penalty kick that we've been awarded this season. Albert Rusnak steps up and makes it 2-0. The penalty was given for a handball that hit the SKC player basically on the end of the sleeve. His arm is out, and it hit him like here. Matt, what do you think of that? Do you think this should be a handball for what we're talking? Is this a handball?
Yeah, that area of the arm is a handball, but it does depend on where the arm is extended. It's all very subjective. I actually haven't seen this one.
I think this play, well, it's very close to the shoulder. I think the reason why this is a handball is about how outstretched and in an unnatural position his hand is. And if his arm is not there, then this changes the flight of the ball a lot. There are Sounders behind him. It very much impacted the play. So this was a good handball call. This was this referee's only fourth game refereed. And for the most part, he got everything right. He just had to go to VAR a lot. We get to the second half. Sounders would score again. Jesus Ferreira would score. Though he takes like 3 extra touches, and there was a point where it really felt like that an SKC player might be able to block the chance. But after getting around the keeper, open net, Jesus Ferreira does manage to find the back of the net. And after the whole game really changed when Paul Rothrock came off the field. The energy shifted, and SKC, who they're playing for their jobs right now. Like they're very bad, but they have nothing to lose, so they're going to keep playing. And they end up finishing this game 3-2. They get 2 penalty kicks. First, Musovski, who comes on the field as a substitute, is deemed to have fouled the SKC player. There is such minimal contact on this penalty. It's very, very, very soft. I think it's correct, but it's such a soft penalty. There is not much contact at all. Joveljic steps up, and then in the second, and then in stoppage, or like right around 90 minutes, another SKC player goes down. This, I think, is even less of a penalty. There's less contact, and it feels like a dive from the SKC attacker. But SKC would end up converting, making it 3-2. And after this penalty, they would be up a man, because this is when we have our true stupid moment. Nouhou gets himself sent off, making it be 5 games in a row where the Sounders have had a fullback sent off, which has got to be some sort of record. I feel like that's like, to have it happen consecutively is insane, because usually when you get a red card, you're like on a short straw, short leash. Like you're like, I can't get another red card. I just got sent off. So while before the penalty kick is taken, most of the Sounders, except for Nouhou and there was one other play, and except for Pelo de la Vega, every Sounder is over by the Sounders bench talking to Smetzer, getting instructions, except for Nouhou and de la Vega, who are over by the penalty area. And Nouhou, to get to his red card, you can see the video, you can look up video of it, fans got this video, took one of the balls that was behind the goal and chucked it at an SKC fan who had apparently flipped him off. And this is how Nouhou got his red card. You can see before I had seen that video, there was I wasn't sure what Nouhou had gotten a red card for, and when I thought he had just said something to the referee, because right after the play, you can see while Nouhou is being shown a red card, there's a shot of him flipping off the referee, which is very, very funny. But him doing that, it seems, is him explaining to the referee that a fan flipped him off. So that's why he's flipping off the referee. But
I just watched the video. I know it's bad, but it's really funny.
It's so dumb, Nouhou. Like, what are we doing? Like, who fucking cares? If there's some random dude who lives in it's Missouri, who lives in Missouri, who fucking cares? If there's some random dude in Missouri who's flipping you off, and I don't know, maybe he said something racist, but even if he said something racist, you are a national team player. You are up 3-1 at this moment. Like, if they score this penalty, it's going to be 3-2, and you're down a man. What the fuck are you doing? You also got a red card 4 games ago or 3 games ago at this point. So you should be like, I can't get sent off. And to get sent off for something like this, you can teach getting 2 yellow cards. Like, if someone gets 2 yellow cards, like the 2 yellow cards that Reed Baker-Whiting got, 2 yellow cards is different than this type of red card. Same thing with Kalani Kozarenzi. You can teach that. You would think you don't need to teach someone not to throw a fucking ball at a fan. I cannot see. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, somebody on Reddit suggested that something racist was said to Nouhou. Somebody else on Reddit was also saying that it was just the Sounders coach that said Nouhou was flipped off.
It doesn't excuse. It doesn't
excuse. But I think if this was just a flipping off, I think it's a grave overreaction. Because I feel like flipping off is kind of a fact of life with being.
I've seen a bird before. I didn't throw a soccer ball at them.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
now if it is more than that, and if there's something to that post, like,
then I kind of support
should never go to the game again.
One of the other,
you probably should have kicked it at him.
One of the other Sounders podcasts that I was seeing was saying, like, getting flipped off today is not anything special. It happens to any Tesla owner every day these days. So, bro, you just got flipped off. Like, chill. I was wearing my Nouhou jersey during this game, and I didn't wear. I will be honest. I literally did not wear the. So Nouhou was he was available for the Columbus game. Yes, it was Reed Baker-Whiting who was suspended for that game. I did not wear my Nouhou jersey to the Columbus game because I was like, I need a break from the Nouhou jersey. And I think, again, I will be taking a break from the Nouhou jersey because I love Nouhou. I'm rooting for Nouhou to score a banger or whatever. But this like for a national team player, you can't do that to get 2 red cards so close to back. I think this is going to be a multi-game suspension. You might remember last season. I think it might have been 2 seasons ago. I think it might also just be last season. But this happened with a Red Bull last season, I believe, and he got suspended for 2 games. He threw a ball into the stands, but it didn't make contact with the fan, or it wasn't like he was targeting. This could be worse for Nouhou because he very much throws it at someone. So it could be 3 games. I think that this also just with this, I think it's unlikely that he comes right back into the starting lineup. I mean, we'll see if Riebecker gets himself sent off in the next game or the next 2, then he'll probably come back. But
somebody
wide open for this.
Somebody on Twitter says, happened right in front of me. You can see me stand up and point after. Kid in front of me just said, you suck and fuck you. Security said they were going to press assault charges on Nouhou. Obviously, take that with a grain of salt. You know, it's just a Twitter user. But if that's the case, that's interesting. I feel like assault charges is a lot, though.
Just like
yeah.
He's a national team player. He's played in some big stadiums. He's played in big games. He's played at the World Cup. Like, bro, what's going on that you're losing your cool like this?
Yeah.
And if the Sounders had tied this game, that's one of the saving graces for Nouhou, is that we still won this game. We got 3 points. Winning on the road in MLS is hard, and we managed to get 3 points. But it's so dumb from Nouhou, and we can't have this. We can't have this. All right, Sounders midweek. They will be playing Colorado. Sounders will be unveiling their new 3rd kit. It is a throwback kit. There have been some leaks of it. That it's kind of like it's using the Sounders logo from the past, when from the A-League days, when we wore like a purple and aqua-esque color. We'll show the jersey when they actually announce it. We'll see how it looks in person. I'm like iffy on it. I'm waiting to see what it looks like in person. Our next 2 games, Colorado and then San Jose. While we usually struggle against San Jose, both home games, this should be 6 points. Our team is pretty much fully healthy. Of getting Morris back, we should get 6 points from these games. Yes, we tied against Columbus. Columbus is a good team. We are still playing very well right now, and I'm feeling good moving forward. Last thing I'll say about the Sounders. Why are we still starting Jesus Ferreira? He should not be starting. Please start either Manungu, De La Vega, or even Kent. Like, Jesus Ferreira should not be starting. We rest my peace with that. And with that, let's talk NYCFC. NYCFC played Charlotte yesterday. Didn't go as well as hoped. Ethan, thoughts on this game?
Yeah.
And NYCFC last week.
NYC have been poor on the road this season, which, is not out of the blue for NYCFC, but we've been particularly underwhelming this year on the road. And last night was more of the same. Charlotte get a goal around 15 minutes in, I think, though. This goal or the lead up to the goal, 100% offside. There's a pass to, I believe, the striker who ends up scoring the goal, sort of over the top. long ball, and he is just 100% offside. And I don't know how this wasn't called back and disallowed. It's a part of the attacking move, and this goal should not have counted, but at the end of the day, you can't really hinge your success on a referee's mistake. Though I'm curious to know what you guys think about that call or missed call, because I think it's pretty clearly offside. But
yeah, MLS needs to. We need better cameras for offsides.
Yeah, but you don't even
need
need a better camera
and we
for
need
this one.
offside technology.
I don't think we even need offsides technology. We just need cameras to be in better positions. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want the Premier League offsides technology, because sometimes the Premier League offsides technology would be like, it will look, people will look in line and then it will be like, oh, it's offsides, and it's like, if the naked eye should be able to tell if someone's offsides, but in order for the naked eye to be able to tell offsides, we have to have a camera that is actually down the line, and we actually still usually you see that with what they have in the Premier League. So that's what we need. Goal line technology is also a must. Also, MLS should be able to afford that. Open up the purse strings.
yeah. The second goal game is frustrating. NYCFC just kind of failed to get it clear. But what really pisses me off about this is that Vargas, who scores the goal, he takes a left foot volley right before he scores, and he absolutely scuffs it. Like he swipes at the ball, barely makes contact. It bounces off Martin's head. Then he tries again, and it's a fucking banger. And that kind of pisses me off. Why does that happen? That's stupid. That's not fair. And yeah. So that was the clincher in the game. Alonso Martinez and Ojeda in the first half both had an opportunity to equalize after Kalinha made a mistake. Alonso Martinez takes the ball around Kalinha, and he shoots, and there's a good goal line clearance, I think from Alonda, they said. And then the ball falls to Ojeda, and he takes like the weakest fucking shot that there is. One of the commentators said it was almost like he didn't realize that Kalinha was coming back in to try and save the shot, which I wouldn't be surprised about, because he takes a long time to shoot it, and he hits it so softly, and like right into the middle of the goal as well. He really should have scored there. Ojeda had a dud of a game this game, and just kind of disappointing from all involved. Wolf was disappointing this game. Maxi wasn't very creative. Alonso didn't have many opportunities. Something worth noting, though, Burke Risa was absent from the squad this game, and it's seemingly because he's on his way out and he's on his way back to Europe. Tom Bogert reporting that Burke Risa is going to Molde. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's either Molde or Molde. So he's going to Norway.
Well, we also got while he's going out, there is also news about a player coming in. What do you want to tell us about the player who has?
We have signed a new designated player. That is Nicolas Fernandez Marcao. He is an Argentinian attacking midfielder, which is a type of player that's given us a lot of success in the past. Obviously, looking at Maxi Morales and Santi Rodriguez, and Fernandez Marcao looks so much like Santi Rodriguez. It's kind of ridiculous. And he looks like a really exciting player. I'm excited to get him on the field. He's fast. He's quick on the ball, which I think is important. He makes decisions kind of quickly and decisively. It looks like he's got a great shot on him as well. Also looks pretty ambidextrous, which I think is going to be a real asset for us, because our players, we have a group of players right now that all feel pretty one-footed. Like Ojeda can't use his left, Fernandez can't use his right, Martinez is best with his right, Maxi's best with his right. He can use his left sometimes. Wolf is also pretty one-footed. He's much better with his left. So I think it'll be helpful and exciting to get a fresh creative force into the squad, especially one who's got a lot of tools in his toolkit. So I'm very excited to get him in the squad. I don't think they've disclosed a fee for this signing yet, so I do wonder how much we paid for him. And another fun fact about him is that he and my brother have the exact same birthday.
That is fun.
That's a fun fact.
Any chance when do you think he could be making his debut?
I don't think they said he has his visa yet, but hopefully that happens as soon as possible. I know I saw something that said, he'll join us, when the transfer window starts, July 24th. So hopefully it's as soon as possible that he can get on the field. Yeah, and I would say in front of the home fans, but NYCFC are on this game against Charlotte was the beginning of a 4-game road stretch, which will be tough. But I think depending on the opponent, we can expect to do better than we did against Charlotte last night.
NYCFC midweek will face off against expansion brother Orlando City. How are you feeling about that game?
I don't know. Orlando are kind of a confusing team to me. I guess they're kind of like NYCFC in that they can be really good, but then they can also be underwhelming in other ways. They're currently, a spot above NYCFC on the table, 4 points ahead. And I don't know. I think it'll be an interesting game. I think we tend to have Orlando's number at home. At Orlando, it's usually a different story, but it'll be a competitive game. We'll see what happens. I want Johnny Shore to start. Johnny Shore has not started the last couple of games. Matchup. Yeah, there is. So we'll see what happens.
A lot of hatred. There's a lot of hatred in these games, obviously.
Yeah, I do think it's changed a little bit in the last couple of years as some of the players on each team have sort of moved on to other teams. But there's always going to be, a connection there, both coming into the league the same year.
I mean, Maxi Morales is still there, and so is Schlegel. The 2 players from the craziest shootout in MLS history still with the team, and that's going to be at the back of their mind. I'm sure those players are remembering that. Quick further transfer news this week. Still waiting to hear more about the Sounders being linked to Noah, Ohio, the forward U22 initiative player. I hope this goes through. The Sounders can obviously use help with scoring goals. But even if this happens, I'm having I don't want my expectations for him to be too high, because the amount of under 22 players who have actually had success in the league is relatively few. It's very hard to have an instant impact when you're one of those players in what some teams expect from you. So I hope that we get him. I hope that he comes and he becomes like a prolific goal scorer for the Sounders. That would be amazing.
Certainly one of the funniest names of a soccer player that I've ever heard.
Yes, it's very funny. No, he's not American, and it's just so funny that he might end up playing in America.
Born in the Netherlands, and his name's Noah, Ohio.
Yeah. Love
It's
that.
just like the most American name.
It feels like a ChatGPT generated name.
Yeah,
like it feels like the name that when you're playing FIFA career mode, like, and you like are signing some youth players, that feels like a name that EA Sports puts in with just a generated player who doesn't have like a face icon. It's gonna have like the no player image at all for Noah, Ohio. It just feels so generated like that. Other player signing news: Atletico Madrid's DePaul, Argentina World Cup winner, is being linked to Inter Miami. I do not understand how. It seems like this isn't going to happen. I don't know what Inter Miami is planning to pay him, or how they could get this over the line.
He'll be a DP. There's no world he's not a DP.
But then who's gonna not be a DP? Because Messi.
Who is it?
Messi,
Messi,
Busquets,
Alba, Busquets.
Or no, it's not Busquets. It's Alba, Suarez, and Messi. Busquets is the.
I mean, you just like Suarez should not be in a DP contract.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, Messi's the only one who's really
we gotta fix these rules.
The DP of it all. Like Alba is honestly kind of maybe this is a ridiculous take. He's kind of a run-of-the-mill MLS left back at this point. You know, like maybe above average, but you know, he's not really, you know, he's not stopping traffic anymore.
Jordi Alba is still a very, very good soccer player, but him getting paid as much as he is very much in ego, like you have to pay me this much or I'm not going to play for you. Like he's just like, I was the best left back in the world at one point. Like you have to pay.
I would beg to
a fraction of
that's
that.
because I'm an Alba hater.
Alba was the best left back in the world.
He was at one. He is not.
What
now.
year was he the best left back in the world?
2011.
I guess maybe Marcelo might have something to say about that.
I'm taking Marcelo over Alba every day of the week.
The Pep Guardiola Barcelona days, he was filthy.
Look, I am personally biased against Jordi Alba. I've never liked him or his attitude. So take what I say with a grain of salt. But I would take Marcelo.
Did you not like Dani Alves? Did you not like Dani Alves?
Didn't like Dani Alves.
That one. Well, that take aged well. Dani Alves is a monster.
Yes, he's a major criminal. So yes, I was always a huge Philip Lahm fan. To me, Lahm is like the consummate defender. Never got a red card in his career. He was great going forward.
He was a holding midfielder though, right? Or was he an outside back?
Towards the end of the career, he was pretty much only a left back.
Pep years, Pep put him at the defensive midfield, but
when he was at Munich,
he was a fullback by trade for the majority of his career.
That's right.
Yeah. Honestly, like the DePaul,
Pep was just doing shit, man.
Videos viral of Pep this week of him at the Oasis concert, having the time of his life.
Yeah, I mean, famous Man City fan, one of the Gallaghers. I always forget who is who.
Honestly, though, about if Inter Miami does get if DePaul does go through, that's going to be scary. That's going to add. I think he will very much help.
He's one of the best players in MLS day one.
Yeah, he's going to very much complement Sergio Busquets, or at least he's going to play a lot better than Busquets. Busquets is old and slow right now. That he would help with a lot of the defensive problems that Inter Miami has, because Inter Miami still, while they are very good and Messi does a lot, they still have defensive problems. They are not a super secure team. So this is definitely something that would help Inter Miami. The last player news that I wanted to bring up about that happened in the U.S. Open Cup. Brendan Vasquez has tore his ACL in the Austin FC versus San Jose game. Finished 2-2 and then went to penalty kicks, and Austin advanced. Austin have so Brendan Vasquez with Austin this year has not been very good. He only has I think he only has 3 goals. Whose team he's on? He did compete. Yeah, he's on Ethan's team. He has 2 goals. Austin FC has team's still doing pretty good without him. Doing well. Your team is pretty much covering him. Austin FC has scored the least amount of goals, or the only teams who have scored less than Austin FC this year are. Oh no, I was going to say Montreal. No, they do have the least amount of goals. They have 15 goals in total. The next closest is DC United, who have scored 18, and Montreal has scored 19. This team cannot score goals, and now they are losing their main forward. This is real huge for Austin, who is trying to make the playoff this year. They might sneak in. They're in 9th place in the Western Conference right now. This is a huge loss. But Brendan Vasquez's his career was already in the shitter when he came back to MLS.
Eloquently put.
For not it did not end. His time in Liga MX did not end well. Wasn't playing well for Monterrey, so it comes back here, and he was hoping that he would start lighting up goals. This did not happen. He is now, I think there is absolutely no chance he makes it to the next World Cup. He was very disappointed to not make the last World Cup, and it felt like he could have been there. His career has just it's gone. It's gone. It's just gone so far downhill. He's so far away from going to Europe. He's so far away from going to the World Cup. Matt, any thoughts on his career?
I mean, it's disappointing for sure. You don't want to see that.
Is this did it everything start to go downhill when he missed at the Gold Cup? When his miss eliminated us in the Panama game? Is that when it all went to one?
That's harsh, but maybe it's about right.
Yeah. I mean, after that, pretty much, literally nothing went right. That was right before he would miss the 2022 World Cup. Then he did score. He did score against Inter Miami in the CONCACAF Champions League, and helped eliminate them in their run to the final. So we like him for that. And it's unfortunate that he tore his ACL. It's a tough time to be Brandon Vasquez. All right. Before we wrap up here today, Club World Cup final starts in about an hour. It is PSG versus Chelsea. PSG getting here after beating RSL.
That's funny.
Oh my god. I didn't even mean I memed Real Madrid.
Look,
I didn't even do that on purpose.
Equivalent.
I didn't the other Real team, Real Madrid, who we now know that the Sounders are better than Real Madrid because the Sounders only lost 2-0 to PSG.
Yeah, I saw that.
Real got played out of that game, by the way. That was crazy. This PSG team is like an all-time team.
They're quite good.
They're just so young. They can press so hard for the entire 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a truly I'm sort of romantic about soccer, and I think like possession wins games. But like, and not that this team doesn't possess, but the way they attack and get forward so quickly, and the way they press so hard, it's like this is like a style that you can only run with this many good young players. It's hard to assemble a team of this many mature players who have the legs to do what they do.
Yeah,
like this is a team building and tactical like masterclass.
Yeah, Luis Enrique. I think it's time that people start having the conversation for him being one of the best coaches ever in the game. Just he's had so much success with his teams.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, if he goes on and wins if he wins this, then that'll be the treble.
I saw somebody say that they already won a treble.
Did they win the league?
Did they win
the domestic cup in France?
I think they won the domestic cup.
Okay,
they did win they didn't. I forget what that.
I think that's right. Okay, yeah, but it's also the French. It's also the French domestic cup. That's not.
It's a PSG
not
cup.
Hard. Yeah, that's about as hard to win as the Canadian Championship. Like that's like they should be winning that. Like the best team with the most money should always win that. Chelsea get to the final against Fluminense, but going into the final, I think still pretty much everyone is picking PSG in this game. It's very funny that Chelsea makes it to the final. The only way that Chelsea makes it to the final is, I think, because they were on the side of the bracket that they were. The side of the bracket, the left side of the bracket was much easier than the PSG side. That's why Chelsea is here. It's going to be real interesting to see how both of these teams look in like 3 months. These players both of these players go through big injury spells. That's when we're really going to see what is the aftermath of this tournament. I think this PSG's to lose. I think it's going to be 3-1 PSG. Matt, what's your prediction?
3-1 PSG. Yeah. I mean, I'm picking PSG. By, I don't know what the score will be, but by like play on the field.
Who is President Trump going to be handing the trophy to? That's what you need to answer today. President Trump's going to be in attendance for this game.
Yeah, PSG by a lot. I mean, this is a fine Chelsea team, but this is not like a great team by any means. They've had a really easy run to this final. Cole Palmer is great.
He's fun to watch.
He's very fun to watch.
He literally just like he's like, what's the most attacking thing I can do right now? Whether it's a good decision or a bad decision, be damned.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch, even though his haircut is absolutely terrible.
Look, it's a British haircut, you know. It's not. Who are we to judge?
It is not his fault. He's British, and we need to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
It is his fault. He looks like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's your prediction, Ethan?
Like 10. No, not 10. 10's a lot. At PSG by a lot. I'm gonna steal Matt's wording because I think he put it very succinctly. Yeah. PSG are a much better team. If they beat Real Madrid 4-0, they should beat this Chelsea team 8-0. Especially with Chelsea's goalkeeper who makes mistakes like every other game. I thought it was really funny to see the Chelsea coach in the last game against Fluminense be like, we've played 63 games coming into this. How many have they played?
Oh, this actually was really funny.
And then there's a guy then a report is like, they've played 70 games. And then he's just like, okay, like he says nothing because he didn't even answer because he was like, he knows he was speaking some authentic gibberish.
I love that. Gibberish. It was absolutely incredible that moment happened. Yeah, thoughts on this? I mean, we'll see what happens in this final. In general, is the Don Garber came out yesterday, and said made comments saying that.
Saying it's a stupid joke.
saying that
he's a month late, but good for him.
Nice.
Saying that this tournament was a complete success. Matt, was this tournament a complete success?
Complete, no, but this was a success. Like, you got European teams playing really competitive football. The whole world is watching. And yeah, I mean, no one, like, the world football took that game of PSG versus Real Madrid very seriously. PSG took that game very seriously. Real took that game very seriously. We have manufactured, or not we, but like FIFA manufactured another tournament in which we get top level play. And there's some things to be said about, like, who got hurt again? Davies? Was it Davies?
Musiala.
Oh, that's right, Musiala. There's some things to be said about, like, the over use of our players and the strain on these athletes, but overall, like, I would call this an extremely positive tournament.
I think the positives from this tournament are I do think that the overall idea of the Club World Cup, I love the idea to have the conference champions from the conference champions from all over the world coming together to play real games against each other. Even though we're going to end up with some games like Bayern Munich versus Auckland, it's fun that these games happen. It's fun that we got to see, like, the teams from Brazil play some teams in Europe. Like, I like this. I think there were too many teams in this tournament. They could have been more like 16. We did get a lot. The teams took this a lot more seriously than I thought they might. We saw some really good games. The Manchester City Al Hilal game is going to stand out for a while. That game was incredible. The amount of people who are not huge into soccer who have watched so many of these games and have thought of this game. Like, usually when the World Cup happens, like, people who aren't soccer fans are watching a lot more soccer, and which is good. And that kind of happened for this tournament. I will say, for me personally, I can't say it wasn't a complete success because it is still different from the World Cup. I did not watch every game. When the World Cup happens, I am locked in. I'm watching every game.
Yeah, I mean, if your benchmark is the World Cup, then you're gonna have a tough time living up to it.
This is true. But there's a lot of bad matches in the World Cup that I will watch every minute of, and I was not going to do that for some of these matches that were in the group stage. For this, and like pretty much like quarterfinals on, I was pretty locked in, but before that, not so much. There's also been notes that because of the heat, there's going to be they might move some games or add games with stadiums who have roofs. I think this is incredibly stupid. I think we should just play for the World Cup. As I just said, people are going to – it's the World Cup. People wait 4 years to watch the World Cup.
Yeah.
I know that we want to have games during the day because it's better for European times, but people are going to watch the games no matter what. Like, if we need to move the games later on in the night or earlier to when it's less hot, then do that. Like, I don't want us playing on worse fields that have roofs.
Yeah. What's wrong with like a 10 a.m.
kickoff? It's not that hot. It's not that hot.
Look, it's pretty fucking hot. I'm gonna say that. I'm not very good in the heat. Maybe it's just me, but
it is supposed to be 90 degrees on Wednesday for the next Sounders game. Here, and that is hot for Seattle. Seattle's not used to that. No one in Seattle has AC. But like, again, some of the the fact that this news is coming out after like the viral pictures of Dortmund sitting in their locker room for the game, like it's a little pathetic.
That was a little silly.
Yeah. I do wonder how much. Maybe we don't need the same air conditioning that they had in Qatar, because they had like AC in all the stadiums, and they had like completely around. So maybe we don't need as much air conditioning as them, but like, could we get like a couple of them? Like, we don't need the entire stadium to be air conditioned, but it feels like they could use some. If we have the technology to make it feel very cool, can we get like a couple of those giant fans and put those at the stadiums where it's going to be super hot? Anyway, we'll see what happens for the next World Cup. Crazy that we are less than a year away.
It doesn't feel like
that happening. It's wild. It's going to be here. It's going to be here very soon, which is still
feels
very
like only
crazy.
yesterday we were watching those underwhelming U.S. games together in Boston.
Do we think we're gonna get? Do we think we're gonna get any? We're gonna get any clips of Trump during this game?
Look, if he's there, I can't
imagine
that they won't have cameras on him.
Does he know any? Yeah. Does he know literally? Will he know anything that's happening? Is the question. Speaking of it, FIFA now even more close ties with the Trump administration, as FIFA has now opened their office in Trump Tower in New York. So that's great. Well done, FIFA.
I sent that to my family group chat, and my dad responded saying, like, no big deal. It's just another corrupt entity in that building. Like, you know, nothing big.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say about FIFA, Sepp Blatter, the former FIFA head, made comments this weekend saying, criticizing FIFA for giving the World Cup to Saudi Arabia in 2030, which is it's saying, which is just like, bro, you, for the dude who gave the World Cup to Qatar in 2022, like, bro, like you can't make these comments. What are we doing here? Like, this is not surprising for FIFA, one of the most corrupt organizations in the world.
Yeah.
So Sepp Blatter, just stop talking. Just continue. Just go away. Just go away. We don't need to hear from you. All right. That's going to do it. We'll see what happens in the Club World Cup final. We got to pick our game of the week, picks for this Wednesday. Since all of our teams are playing midweek, the game is LAFC at Minnesota. Ethan, who are you going to go with? You are currently in the lead.
Oh, I am?
You are currently in the lead of the game of the week prediction.
And now Matt's tied with you.
Yes, Matt is tied with me at 6 because he was correct in predicting the Columbus win against Cincinnati. So,
I can't believe you've correctly predicted tie 3 times so far this year. That's ridiculous. To be fair, it's 3 out of like 17 or something like that.
Yeah, it's just bad. It's a bad numbers game.
Yeah.
Who are you
but
picking?
It's crazy that you've gotten it thrice so far. I think, fuck it. I don't know. Minnesota.
Supporting the Oasis fans. Pep would be so happy. Matt, who are you picking?
I'll take Minnesota as well.
All right. I don't want to. I mean, I was gonna pick Minnesota because I never pick LAFC. Because fuck LAFC, and now it's just gonna be super boring if I pick Minnesota. So I think because of that, I will pick tie again. Because we gotta have some difference, and I can't pick LAFC. I would just refuse to do that. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, when we come back this coming Saturday to talk about these midweek games, me and Ethan will be tied. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Football is Life. Remember to like and subscribe here on YouTube, footballislife.wecb. Follow us on Twitter at WECB Football. Contact the show at footballislife.net or at footballislife.wecb@gmail.com. Next episode, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, this coming Saturday, July 19th. We will see you then. Until next time, football is life.